Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Reserved Investments. And I want to be very clear here. I don't want to beat a dead horse. But this is an excellent thread. Somebody sent me this who watches this channel on a regular basis. I'm going to put a link to the Reddit post that this is under below so that you guys can link to it. You can check this out for yourselves. We are going to go through this though, and I'm going to give you my thoughts because this proves how crazy the Pokemon market is right now. And for those of you that think that somehow vintage is dead or there's no opportunity in vintage, I keep correcting you guys because that's really where a lot of the opportunity lies over the long term. Now, in the short term, yes, there still is opportunity in going and buying factory sealed modern era booster boxes if you can get them, flipping on the market, making money, or even holding them for a little bit because we are consumed by Pokemon mania right now. The trading card market, by and large, is in a massive speculative frenzy, and it really doesn't matter what aspect of the market you're involved in, whether it's sports cards, vintage, modern, Pokemon cards, vintage, modern, even obscure trading cards. Like I did a video a couple of months back now on vintage 1977 Topps Series 1 Star Wars cards that were graded in PSA 10 condition, selling through Heritage for hundreds of thousands of dollars a piece. So we're going to go through this post. I'm going to show it to you on the screen so you know what we're going to be talking about, and then we're going to discuss this in full. So this post appeared under Poke Investing on Reddit. Now, I want to be very clear here, and I do have to give credit where credit is due. There are some very well-versed people in this Poke Invested Redding forum. But there are also a lot of Timmies, Kimmies, and Poindexters that do stupid stuff, or you can tell they're just looking at this going, oh my God, Pokemon is hot. How can I get in on this investment opportunity? And this is the problem that I have with most speculative frenzies. There's a lot of people out there that are emotionally attached to these items, and they don't realize that the reason why the market keeps going up and up is because a lot of the Timmies, Kimmies, and Poindexters that never really had an interest in this stuff are just discovering the fact that this stuff is going up in value, and now they want a piece of that action. And I've often said this, in all honesty, you should be selling into the hype, or if you have an interest in this stuff, and let's say that you do really want to buy into the Pokemon marketplace right now, you should be in a holding pattern. Meaning you should be taking a step back and looking at what prices are doing. Is it best maybe if you can buy modern items at market value to do that rather than putting your money into a lot of these higher end modern era sets, factory sealed booster boxes that are already selling for a premium, or heaven forbid, vintage cards like we're going to be talking about today. So the title of this post is, this person posts this on Poke Investing, and he's stating, trying to get into Pokemon for the first time since childhood. Boy, dude, did you just get slapped in the face with a stale donut. You chose a very bad time to choose to invest in Pokemon, especially vintage graded Pokemon cards. And bought my first big purchase, a Dark Charizard at 16,000 US dollars. Kid me would think I'm crazy, asking for opinions. And you can see on this post, you can click on it in the video description below. He does have a picture of the card in question. It's 100% legit. This is a first edition Dark Charizard holofoil card. And of course, this is from the coveted Team Rocket set published in 2000 by Wizards of the Coast. I actually have one of these cards in my collection. I love this card, to be honest with you guys. So I want to be very clear here. Believe it or not, I'm already exposing a bias where I'm telling you I love this card. That does not mean, however, I think this person made a wise decision. So we're going to go through, I'm going to give you my thoughts, and we're going to read some of these comments. Now, right off the bat, the first person that responds here states, how the hell do you spend $16,000 without knowing if it's a good price or not before making the move? And this is something that I would ask. It truly blows me away that people just decide on a whim to spend like 16 grand or whatever it is on an item like this, just simply because they have a desire to get back into this market. Now, in all actuality, this is really what the antiques and collectibles trade runs on. There's a lot of Timmies, Kimmies, and Poindexters that get emotionally attached to these items. They don't know what they're doing. They buy in at an extremely high price point. We saw this during the pandemic. If we get my DeLorean time machine, we go back to right around 2021, when a lot of pop culture collecting markets, along with luxury collectibles like Rolex watches, were going into the stratosphere. People had the same mentality. It's FOMO, fear of missing out. And that's what I caution you guys on this channel. If you watch any of my in-depth videos, any of my whiteboard videos, where I talk about how to analyze these markets, what is at play, the mindset of collectors versus investors versus dealers versus speculators, all this is very vital to understanding why some individuals make mistakes like this. If you also want an excellent book to read, it's more of a psychology/finance book. Read The Psychology of Money, and you can better understand why people buy assets at all-time high price points. It really makes no sense to a lot of people that are educated in finance, other than a lot of people that are just following the hype blindly. Now, going on through the comments here, there is an excellent response here that I do want to read. I'm not going to share anybody's username or Reddit name in this post. You guys can check it out for yourself. But I do want to give this person credit. This person responded, this card, meaning the card in question, the Dark Charizard holofoil first edition card from Team Rocket, they were worth half this amount a few months ago and a quarter a year ago. Hype and attention is here now, but remember that what has gone up can always come down, and there is a precedent for that 2020 through 2022, meaning he's saying during 2020 through 2022, Pokemon cards like this were extremely hot, and then of course they cooled off, they pulled back. And they literally remained at those lower price levels for several years. And if you would have bought in at that time, now if you were to take those items that you bought in at that low point and sold into the hype, you would be turning an extreme, tremendous profit. This person goes on to state, don't consider it an investment. You paid market value based on the market right now, and you should enjoy it, even if it comes back to what market value was last summer. If you would be put in a bad position by the value falling or wouldn't be happy with the card, then I wouldn't recommend keeping it for long. You are buying at an all-time high price point after all. And I agree 100% with this analysis. Successfully investing in anything requires a bit of luck and a lot of knowledge, and it sounds like this is a big first entry point for you, and the advanced knowledge and experience may not be there yet. If you want to continue investing and buying high-end cards, spend a lot of time learning and don't be afraid to make mistakes, take losses, and as much as possible, understand why the market is behaving the way it is. Generally, though, my advice is to just enjoy the card and its nostalgia. Congrats on the acquisition. Now, there are other people here that do back the sale. They claim that this is one of the most important Charizard cards ever produced that came out of the coveted vintage Pokemon sets. I would agree. I, of course, also prefer, which I have in my collection, the Blaine's Charizard. I love that card as well. So I can see where these people are coming from. Now, everybody is already reaching out to me, asking me with the high, insane prices that some of these vintage Pokemon cards are fetching, am I selling any of my cards in my collection? The answer is currently no. I know I may come to regret it, but I do really have an attachment to the cards. And in all honesty, I really don't need the money, guys. I'm sorry to say. I know that sounds a little bit elitist, but I really don't care about the $20,000 that each of these cards is worth at present time, because I'm already sitting on a substantial net worth. Now, if my financial situation was different, you better bet your bottom dollar I would seriously considering selling. And again, this may be something that I come to regret, because I've often said the Pokemon market is due for a massive correction. There's a lot of people that do not simply understand demand versus supply. And there's a lot of people that also incorrectly assume that all these individuals, even youngsters, that are coming into this market for the very first time, even if they're just buying modern era packs or booster boxes or whatever they can get their hands on, that doesn't mean 30 years from now, they're gonna be hardcore Pokemon collectors. Always remember, if you watch any of my other videos where I talk about hardcore collectible finance, collectors are born, they are not made. Just because somebody has an interest in video games or comic books or rare coins or Pokemon cards or whatever it is at a young age does not mean they're going to carry that into adulthood. Those individuals have what I call the collecting gene, and not everybody has that. This is why there's a lot of individuals in the Pokemon community that are getting this all wrong. They think that everybody who collects Pokemon cards as a kid or who are exposed to it, they're going to grow up and they're going to want to spend thousands of dollars on these cards. What is happening right now is twofold. Yes, obviously there is a nostalgia factor to what's happening in the Pokemon market. I would agree with you 100% from that standpoint. But there's also this other, more sinister element to this, where people look at the line on the graph and they go, line keeps going up. I'm going to invest in that. Case in point, if we go back just a couple of months, I put out a video as to how precious metal prices were affecting the antiques and collectibles trade. And literally when that video went live, there's people in the comment section that were stating, this was back when silver was hitting like $100, $120 an ounce. There's people in the comment section when that video went live stating that silver's going to go to 300, 400, 500. And I even responded to some of the individuals, what basis are you analyzing this market claiming that silver is going to just keep going up and up? There's already been, since that video went live, a massive pullback in the silver market. And I don't think that people realize, just on a side note here, if silver ever would get to $500 an ounce, are you aware what would happen with inflation? Are you aware that there is silver in a lot of the products that you most likely take for granted and use on a regular basis, including higher end electronic components that have both gold and silver in them? That would be a disaster for the overall global economy if silver got that high. Even at $100 to $120 an ounce, it was predicted by JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, the big boys, that there had to be a pullback of some magnitude. You guys have to be careful what content you listen to on the internet. There's a lot of very bad, biased advice being pumped out, whether it's precious metals, whether it's Pokemon, whether it's Rolex watches, whether it's speculating on individual stocks or meme stocks. Whatever the market is, you have to take a lot of content with a grain of salt. You need to understand that we're in the age where YouTube algorithms created by people who get ad revenue are influencing you in one way or another. And their goal is to make as much money as possible and also increase their subscriber base, because that translates to more ad revenue. Okay? So I don't mean to go off on a rant here. I just wanted to at least bring attention to this, because I think that this, along with Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, wearing his $12.9 million sports card around his neck, this is everything that's wrong with the trading card market at present time. And in all honesty, I'm even giving advice to my clients where in certain instances, they're going to have to learn to take a wait and see attitude in this market. Now, to be fair, if you want to speculate on modern era booster boxes, Pokemon cards, and the like, you do you. Again, there's most likely going to be a pullback in that market as well. This market cannot sustain exponential growth going forward on a permanent basis, meaning at some point, this market has to correct. And what people don't realize, I've said this before, I'll say it again, markets don't just go up and down. They can also go sideways for many, many years. And that's where a lot of individuals can end up getting slapped in the face with a stale donut. Take this individual. I don't know if $16,000 is a lot to this individual. He didn't say anything about his age, his net worth, his career, where he's at in life. how old he is, anything like that. I'm just going by this post. If you're crazy enough to spend $16,000 just on a whim to own a card like this, I hate to say this, you deserve to get whatever you're going to get, because obviously you didn't do the due diligence. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know. Thank you so much. And if you are subscribed, I will see you in another upcoming video.